Hello, hello. Welcome to She2She with Sharice and Tashima. Two women sharing real life experiences, the joys, the valleys, and finding hope. We want to inspire and empower and let you know you are not alone.
Hello, welcome to She2She podcast. This is episode 4. We are back. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about your circle, right? And so I think that is a great topic for us to talk about because your circle, your friends, your family, who those core people have influence on your journey. So we've talked about, our journeys. We talked about stepping out on faith and moving past fear. And so part of that is our circle.
Absolutely, 1,000%. But let me start off with saying it is nice to be sitting next to you during our podcast. We're getting there. So it's great because, Tashima and I, we started off doing some Zoom videos with you guys doing podcasting, but I think it's great to be in the presence of our circle, right? Part of our circle here. And yes, we're kicking it off talking about our circle and just how critical having your circle is to supporting you in your journey. Right?
And I think, your circle starts very early on in age, right? When you think about when you're on the playground and you meet friends. And then as you grow older in your journey, like your circle changes. I remember my mother, and I'm sure grandmothers have told others this, right? So, as you get older, your circle shrinks. And you can count on one hand how many people is in that circle. Right?
And that's okay.
And that's okay. But it's all part of the journey. So even that, your circle becoming, smaller and smaller as you get older is all part of the journey. Right?
And because we're getting older, right, we're discovering more about ourselves. We're learning more about us and our needs, but also, we become more strategic in our connections, right? Right? It's not, of course we have different people for certain seasons or areas of our lives, right? But you have to become more strategic and more, just intentional about who you spend your time with. And, it just is, right? Because, sometimes when you're not, you tend to, well, first of all, let me back up. We tend to want to be close or hang around people who are like us, who are similar to us, who have similar goals, or if you're not necessarily goal-oriented, just someone to have fun with. I shouldn't say it that way, and I apologize if that sounds a little funky, but, some folks that you surround yourself with is just someone to just spend time with and maybe take you out of the funk that you're in, right? They make you laugh, and they're adventurous. I mean, you have different circles for different purposes of your life. But when it comes to the goals, that is where it's so critical. And I have to say, in the last few years, I discovered just how critical that was for me in getting, where I wanted to go. And on the same token of that, just supporting other women who are also in search of or on a journey of, getting to the goal, but also wanting to be around people who have what I want, right? Who have the experience that I want. Is so critical.
And I think part of it is, as you go along in your just life and you meet people. For me, it was, I think in the last 3 or 4 years or so, I took stock of, just my own evolution of becoming, more of who I am in my journey is looking at my friends and looking at the core values. Like, why am I friends with certain people, And then I took stock of that and I looked at, what were the characteristics of the people that were in my life, that were close to me, that were intimate with me. What were the qualities about them that I love? And I started looking at, there is a pattern there. So I think as we talk about your circle, think about why the people are in your lives and why they are your circle.
I like how you said think about that. That's being aware, right? And sometimes, as you're playing on the playground, right? As Tashima said, and you have friends, and you come up with some of those friends, right? And then wherever you are in your age, 40s, 30s, whatever, maybe you're still friends with those folks, which is awesome because I'm sure you care a lot about them and you have a connection with them. But, sometimes you have to start to filter out, right? Depending on what it is that is no longer, connecting with you as a person. Because as people, we evolve, right? We evolve from that child on the playground to where we are today through our experiences and discoveries and our goals and wherever we're looking to go. So sometimes, unfortunately, as hard as it is, sometimes we find that we have to make tough decisions.
Yeah, sometimes those people, the individuals that are in your life are not meant to continue on your journey. They are meant for a season, a time, and a place, right? And that's all relationships, friends, if you're in your significant other, unfortunately, sometimes, and so we have to take stock of what is truly, and I think as you go along in this journey, you understand what is important to you. So as I looked at that over the last few years, I looked at the qualities of people that I hold value in my life, whether it's family, friends, associates, with work, and they all carried a theme. And for me, that was loyalty, trust. They make me laugh. They are very faith-filled individuals. I have people along the way you go through high school. I have friends that I've been friends since 5th grade, right? Wow. And they each serve different purposes in my life, but they all have the same core values. I can be my authentic self with them. There is never any judgment. There is a safe space. And my circle is what I call my tribe, right? My circle. And I think we all, have that. I always think about when Jesus had his tribe, he had his tribe. He had his 12,
That's right.
And so we are meant to have that as we walk along in this life. And, as I think about the individuals that are in my life, they are, including you, they are there to propel me, to be that mirror. Because you don't want people that's just going to be in your life and just yes you to death. Yes, girl.
And watch you going down the wrong path. That's not cool.
I shared a picture, an old school picture with one of my friends this morning actually. Girl, I looked at that picture and I was 18, about to enter 12th grade. I looked like I was 40. And I talked to some of my friends that I'm still friends with from high school. And I was like, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me? But we all want those. Your circles should be mirrors. Absolutely. Your circles should be a safe space where they can tell you, girl, no, I don't think that's the best decision. And you can hear it because you know that they're coming from a place of love. So your circle will be truth tellers. Your circle will push you to greatness.
That's right.
And all of that is part of the journey. All of that it will help propel you to greatness.
That's right. That's right. You want someone to play devil's advocate in your life sometimes, right? Someone to make you think and challenge your thinking. So as Tashima said, you want someone who's really going to be honest with you and allow you to see other sides of a situation, whatever we're going through, because we as women, we're going through a lot. We're raising our children, we're in relationships, we're employees or entrepreneurs. We're so many different roles, and inevitably we're going to encounter some challenges. Sometimes our thinking is probably not the best, right? So you want someone in your corner that's going to say, listen, I hear you. I know it's tough, but listen. Listen, and to be able to receive that is so important. And as Tashima said, when the other person's coming from a place of love, that helps. For me, I like authentic relationships. I like to go in depth, right? I'm not a surfacey kind of person. So for me, if I'm going to be in a circle or, connected to someone, it's got to be meaningful. And we have to, to some degree be like-minded, positive. Don't get me wrong. Some days we're not always going to be positive. We're not going to feel positive vibes all the time. But someone who is grateful just like I am about life, right? Someone who is searching for greater or challenging themselves. Those are the people I love to surround myself with. And I think those kind of people have been critical to my growth, whether it's personal. Tashima has been a blessing to me in speaking life to me, into me in certain situations, and you need that person. And I know a lot of you don't know me, but I am a very private person. And you'll never know what's going on in my life. Mm-hmm. So if I share it with someone, it's going to be because I trust that person to be able to, and I feel safe with that person. So I'm grateful for Tashima's friendship, really, because it's been a blessing to my life. And so, as women, we have to sometimes audit our circles and kind of say to ourselves, well, if that person, when you get off the phone with them, you feel horrible or worse than you did before you got on, that's a sign of something that needs to be revisited. And so that to me is so important. I've always been selective, and I've had a very, very minuscule circle, okay? Because just how I am. But I will say, coming up in the career I stepped into, I started to surround myself with people who are like-minded and who were also trying to get places, right? They weren't all the way there, but I saw that, they have the hunger, the grit, the desire, and all of that. And so that's what made me want to stay connected with them and watch them grow. Here's the thing. Here's the beauty about circles. You have to be able to praise and be truly happy for that person.
Oh my goodness, yes. Right? I was thinking about that when we were picking our topic, right? I thought about that, and I was like, for me and my circle, I want everyone to win. Yes. Like, there is no envy, there's no jealousy, there is no, I'm just there to watch them and compare. Right. There is none of that. And that's part of, when I look at my circle, they all are rooting for me, and I'm all rooting for them. And it is soul changing, right? Yes. Because there's no alternative motive.
Exactly.
There's nothing that I want from them, and there's nothing that they want from me. It is all for the sake of, I want you to be great. I want you to have every blessing, more and more blessings, rain upon you that you can, more than you can even hold.
Exactly.
And so, it's not even nothing. It's not anything that I want to benefit me.
That's right.
It is all for the benefit of them.
That's right.
And so I think when you look at your circles, you got to look at and evaluate, do they serve you? And sometimes they only supposed to serve you for a little bit.
Right.
And that's a hard pill to swallow. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That is a hard pill to swallow when you think about people, coming into your life only for a season.
Yeah. We don't want to let people go. We're natural. Like, I know for me, it's hard, so, it is challenging, but, you have to protect your being, right? You have to protect your energy. I tend to absorb energy when I walk into the room. A lot of people do. So you really have to, when you get to a point where you're like, I don't feel good when I get off the phone with them or when I'm with them, and it's depleting me, my energy, it's making me think negative things about other people even, or myself. I mean, that's a sign that I need to audit, and I need to unfriend.
In real life.
Right, in real life, and keep it moving. Keep it moving. And you can love them from a distance, or adjust the capacity in which or the space in which they take up in your life.
Well, those boundaries.
Boundaries.
Yes. And that'll be another topic when we talk about boundaries.
Yes.
But sometimes you have to your point, audit your circle. And a lot of times you have to audit yourself to see the people that are in your circle.
Yes. You're so right. Oh,
you have to audit yourself to make sure the people in your circle are supposed to be there. Because you're going to change. You're going to evolve. And
that's okay.
It is
Remember.
Okay. Yes, it's okay.
Like, don't be afraid of change, you know? every few years, it's natural to go through like this evolution, and that's called growth. I mean, I always say, until we take our last breath, we have a chance to be all we can be. And that's going to require elevation, some changes, some hard decisions in order to go forth. But be okay with change, expect it, and and just be sure that you're surrounding with good people who, Les Brown, I talked about Les Brown once, right? Uncle Les, he tends to say only quality people, right? Surround yourself with quality people who are willing to do the things that others won't do, to have the things that others won't have. Yeah. Because when you don't do and you don't step out and be all you can be in this world to yourself and the world and give, right? That is a hindrance. So you want to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with energy. Believe it or not, you get so much energy is harnessed from other people that give off the good vibes and the good energy. And of course you can do it. That motivation, that cheerleader behind you, you're going to need that on most days.
Oh,
on
every
the
day.
days especially the days where you get out of bed, it's like, I don't even want to get out of bed, right? Some days. But when you are surrounded by people who are checking on you and who are like, girl, you can do that thing. Like, girl, I know it's hard today, but go ahead, get in that shower, go get your nails done, go do whatever it takes to lift your spirits. And go do it, right?
Yeah.
And so when you have that, it is a beautiful thing. And so don't ever feel like the friends that I have, because I've grown up with them, if I let them go, they're gonna hate me, or they're not, they're gonna be angry. You know what? It's your decision to make.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And you know what? I even pray over that. I pray, I say a prayer and then I ask God to remove anything and anybody.
Thank you.
Remove anything and anybody.
Yes.
That does not look like, feel like what you have for me. Right? And so I pray that prayer and to make sure that who I surround myself with aligns with His will in my life.
I love that.
And I think that's important because I always want to be in an alignment of His will. And sometimes the individuals that are in my life are not aligned to what He has for me. So when I say I gotta take stock of myself, that is what I'm talking about. Like taking stock of myself and my purpose and God's will over my life and who is supposed to be there. Because at the end of the day, whether they are there for a season, whether they are there for a lifetime, when it all falls away, the people, your true circle, your true core, they're going to be there.
They're going to still be standing.
They're still going to be
strong
standing
in your life, right?
Yes.
I love that prayer because I honestly, guys, it wasn't until, I'll tell you the year, 2012 of when I started to truly pray and started to truly harness just dig deep and just like lay it all out, right? And be vulnerable. And I started to pray the prayer of, Lord, surround me and my daughter at that time. I'm like, surround us, and that's still my prayer. Surround us with good people, right? People that mean us well, that have our best interests at heart, that truly care and would love us. And when I started to pray that prayer and live every day with that energy of like, Lord, I'm open to all the goodness that you have and through people, relationships, that's when people started to be added to me. And I met Tashima a couple years after that. And so I'm telling you, it works.
It does.
It works.
It,
we
are true testimonies of that. I think we mentioned in another podcast that we met in the hair salon.
Yes.
We've been going to the same hair salon for years.
Yes.
So, but it started with the conversation, and then we talked about real estate and goals and kids, and But I think it's being open, and I love that you said that you prayed for God to bring the people around you. Right. The expectation that you knew that He would add those that needed to be in your journey for however long they needed to be there. Exactly. And so that is what we are talking about today, is your circle. Yes. Take stock of who you give your energy to. I think as we get older, I know for me, as I've gotten older, I'm like, I don't have the time to have figureless.
Yeah, superficial.
Yes,
yes.
relationships with people, you know, and I just think because as we get older, we you know, you think about your own mortality and the time that we have here and the time and the energy that you actually have to give to someone, you know, like I don't have time for something that is not authentic, that is not rooted in love, that is not rooted in, you know, trueness, you know, and so.
I love that you said that. I was watching a TED Talk this week and it was a woman, she's a doctor, and she was talking about, you know, as when we're children on the playground, say, you know, we're all about making friends and we don't really censor ourselves. We're at our truest selves at a young age, and we're not really blocking who we are and masking anything, right? And then we go through this period, you know, in our young adult, you know, teens. I think they said after 7 and up, we start to try and conform to others, right? To fit in and to be accepted and all of that stuff. And then in our later years, our elderly years, we become less tolerant of that.
Oh, yes.
We're like, I don't like it. Turn it off because I don't like the show. And why are you here? But anyway, I mean, we don't have to be mean. But basically, when we get older, we start to say what we want and we do what we want and we don't do what we don't want, right? And so we go through this huge chunk of years of our lives where we're really not doing the best by ourselves because we're too busy trying to get approval. And if you're constantly needing to get approval from your circle, there's something wrong with that circle. But as Tashima said, you have to turn the mirror onto yourself and really understand, okay, what am I doing to contribute to the people that I'm attracting and keeping in my life? And so you have to start here. Everything in life starts with us.
Yeah, it starts with the heart.
Starts with the heart and understanding and really thinking, pausing, giving yourself time to reflect inwardly on yourself and do the work. Figure it out, and then you make adjustments where you need to, and then you kind of go back into the world as a new being in a sense, right?
A new awareness, self-awareness of yourself, and like I said, you know, I had to really take stock of they didn't know I was taking stock of them. So if you guys are watching or here doing the podcast, you didn't know I was taking stock of you as my friends. But it was my own personal, you know, it was my own personal evolution of me, like as I'm still going through the process of healing from some hurts and trauma, which we all have. We don't escape it walking this world. And so for me, and I talked about on another podcast going to therapy, and for me, I wanted to understand me, and part of that was taking stock of the people in my life. Like why do I want to be her friend, or why am I attracted to certain things, and what is it that what are the characteristics of them? That's really what I was looking at, because you know, in loving relationships with, you know, the opposite sex, or just friendships and families, like what are those things that it was really important for me to understand that, because that helped me understand myself.
And that's beautiful that you, as we were saying, taking stock of yourself. Sometimes we get so busy in life, we're caught in this. Okay, they say the rat race, right? There's that.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Keeping up with the Joneses. Stressed about money and just life. And sometimes we don't pause. The way you pause, the way I pause, and actually start to go inward and, like I said, reflect and, you know, and really do the work. And that's what it takes. Honestly, you can't skip over that part.
Oh, no. Because even if you try, it's just going to keep showing up.
Yeah, we were saying you keep hitting your head against the wall. I mean, it's just going to keep around, and you're going to be like, why is something happening to me? And I'm going to say, if you're telling me that, I'm going to say, because you haven't done the work.
But that's, again, your circle is going to breathe life into you. Your circle is going to be a truth teller. Your circle may not always agree with you. Your circle is going to challenge you, but that's what they're there for. But they're going to challenge you with love. They're going to give you grace. They're going to give you the nourishment that you need on your own journey. And so, you know, today think about who surrounds you. You know, are they benefiting you? Are you serving them well? Right? So it's a two-way street.
Absolutely.
You know,
1,000%. And so that is like a lot of personal side, but pivoting over to, and I said earlier, strategic. I'm sorry if you're offended by that, and I didn't mean that, in a sense of like, oh, you use them for this and surround yourself with that person because of the. From a strategic standpoint, I'm thinking more like, okay, if you have a goal in mind, for me, I was always an introverted person. I still am, right? But when I started to pivot towards wanting to achieve something out the box, I started to surround myself. I remember that prayer, God, surround me with people that mean me well. I started to meet other women like me who were after the same thing or similar. Business people, and those people, we started a little cohort group, and we met on Facebook in groups. I use Facebook strategically. I love that word, strategically. But I use it really for that purpose, to meet others, to garner other ideas for my business, etc. Right? And so I started to surround myself with that kind of circle of women who were also in real estate or going after real estate. And we would get together, once a month to talk about, business and our ideas and share each other, like support each other, give each other ideas, and so it is so critical that we, as we go inward and we do a self-inventory also, if you're not used to praising other women, supporting other women, wishing them well, all of that, make that a practice, an exercise. Gratitude, number one, being grateful for even you and all the experiences that you're experiencing today. You woke up, right? You have breath in your body. You had a meal, hopefully, and you have a roof over your head. Be grateful for all the good things that's happening to you, but also praise and be grateful for other women in your life, right? Extend that gratitude and let them know. And that is a practice that you can, if you're not used to that kind of practice, take that on, because that circle, whether it's a personal circle or a business circle, that will bless you if you nurture it and if you treat it well, right? And don't go after it, oh, I want something out of that, so I'm just going to go and get it and then I'm going to get out. No, add value to someone else's life.
Yeah, I love that.
So,
So, you guys, we are, we could talk all day about a circle, right? As again, just take stock of who's in your circle. Make sure that they're serving you well. Make sure that it's in alignment for your dreams, your goals, your life, how you want to walk through your journey. And so we hope that this has fed you today. Thank you for being part of our circle, our She2She podcast circle. As always, be loved, be you, be blessed, and shine like the diamond you are. Thank you. Bye.